So Revelation 17 today, we're really near to the end, and a fairly similar message to what we've been seeing as the pattern throughout Revelation. Challenging times to come, God dealing in wrath with the wicked world and rebellion, but keeping his people safe. Let's see what the flavour is today. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a desert. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Let's just pause here. So here is a woman riding a beast with 10 horns, powerful, and she is described on the forehead as Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes. What's the picture here? It's power, it's authority raised up against the people of God. So Babylon was one of the great persecutors of God's people in the Old Covenant, took people into exile. In the New Covenant, in the New Testament, it's used as a code name for Rome, the latest world power. And it's picturing that organised humanity in rebellion against God and determined to make his people suffer. And the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I'll explain to you the mystery of the woman of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and will yet come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come." This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. It's thought this is speaking of Rome. Rome was a city on 7 hills, 7 kings until now it's trying to picture again worldly authority as it's set up against God and his people. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And with him will be his called, chosen and faithful followers. So all that the world can muster in its rebellion against God, the greatest empires that have ever reigned, that have put God's people to death, seeming to have victory, are fighting against the Lamb, and they cannot win. He will triumph over them, because they might be kings and lords, but he's the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and with him will be his people. So we might be put to death by the superpower of our day, we might be crushed by those who are opposed to King Jesus, but ultimately the Lamb wins, because he is King of kings and Lord of lords, and we will be with him. Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw where the prostitute sits are peoples, multitudes, nations and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So there will be conflict even between those who are opposed to God. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. So there might be some stuff in this imagery they're trying to work out, and 7 horns and 10 kings and a beast and whatever else, but the picture is of great power and might arrayed against God's people and against God, and yet the Lamb wins. God has put it into the hearts all that they're going to do in order to accomplish his purposes, and God's people will reign with the Lamb. And that's the encouragement for us today. There are great things going on in our world in terms of rulers coming and going, presidents coming and going, all the rest of it, and all the political powers and mights, and the church suffers under the hands of many of those, and yet the reality is that one day they will all be overthrown. The world in its rebellion against God will be dealt with, and the Lamb wins. And we can be encouraged by that. We can be troubled by the news today. We might be worried by what we're seeing around us happening. We might be fearful for our futures in our own political setup. But the Lamb wins. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and we can trust him and look to him for